In the spirit of Clark Griswold, Turk and I are going to press on and we're going to have the happiest motorcycle ride since Lloyd and Harry rode the moped across Colorado, Todd. Hello and welcome to Best Motorcycle Roads. I'm Tom.
And I'm Todd. We have over 65 years of combined motorcycling experience and 30 years of planning and riding motorcycle trips. We're here to share with you everything we've learned over those years.
Our goal at Best Motorcycle Roads is simple. Make your next motorcycle trip the best it can be. We'll dive into technology, planning, packing, the routes, and other tips and everything in between.
From essential prep to unforgettable routes, we've got you covered.
Before we kickstart today's journey, we ask you to sign up for our BMR Rider Alerts. It's our way of keeping you in the loop with the latest rides, tips, and stories. We promise no spam, only the essentials to enhance your motorcycle adventures. Join the BMR crew today. We'll put a link in the show notes. This segment about motorcycle gear reviews and tips we call the Toolkit. This segment is all about motorcycle gear review and tips, and we call it the Toolkit. So, planning, kind of doing some little, I was thinking about it's not really early planning, even though I said it was early planning. And we're like T-minus 60 days, so less than about 62 days. So one of the things that with getting the newer bike that I've had, I don't have a great spot to store the luggage that I'm going to need. And so I've been looking at some seat bags is kind of what they call them, or seat bags. So I'm looking at a Saddlemen 4100 cubic inches of luggage storing fun. It's kind of a U-shaped, fits really nicely on the passenger seat, and then can buckle down there. So I was doing some math, and I'm pretty sure I'm wrong because it was telling me 4,100 cubic inches. I thought each can was 18 cubic inches. Does that seem right?
Like a can of pop?
A can of soda, yeah. 18 cubic inches. Sounds right.
That sounds okay.
41 cubic. When you do the math, it says it's 200 cans of soda. So I'm pretty sure that is not correct.
So you take 8 cases of pop with you?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's tall. I would say it's 2 feet tall. It's got a radius, that full back seat. So it's big.
Wow.
But I don't think 200 cans big. So I did
like
the math twice, still got it wrong. So I'm not sure. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Chat GPT could figure it out.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So essentially, though, it's like a U-shaped, large luggage. And as we've talked about on other episodes, we kind of like to just have the thing and take the whole thing in with you now.
Yeah.
Or hopefully even better, a liner that you can just pull out, leave the bag on. But because if you get too caught up with some of it, it just seems like you're forever. On the last trip when we went down the Eclipse, it took me hours. It felt like hours. I was there, the last guy taking crap off the bike, and I feel like I was just taking so much stuff because I was trying to pack things in here, there, and everywhere. So hopefully this solution will be how I can really kind of manage that all in one. You and I both get off, grab the bag, let's go relax a little bit.
Yeah, Wing Stuff, I think, is where I bought my bag. So, with the Goldwing, 2 hard side bags and then a trunk bag. And Wing Stuff actually has their own brand that's a bag that's like a liner that actually fits pretty nicely into those 3 spots. So you just click the thing open, it falls open, you grab the 2 handles, you just walk in.
Done.
You've got it all. So look into that. It's kind of like the generic Honda version, I think,
And this also comes with, of course, it doesn't come with it, a little extra rain cover, but you need a rain cover. But I was also thinking I have I'm a big Wolfman luggage fan, and he has those. I bring those 2 bags. One of them I put all my clothes in to start with, and one of them's empty. And then as you get dirty clothes, you move them over to the other bag. So you never take up any more, but it always isolates your dirty clothes from your clean clothes.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Super great idea for that, and I think it'll fit well.
So Wolfman brand?
Wolfman does. I'm not sure if he sells those separately or they just came with his bigger luggage. But
I see.
Maybe if you begged and pleaded. Yeah, Wolfman's the brand.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then a cooler of some sort. I know when we've went on trips before, we're just trying to cut down on some of the day expenses. So we're going to bring a cooler, pack some food, pack some drinks, water, that kind of thing. I was just, what did we bring last time? I was kind of thinking about that, and I need to kind of re-spark that.
Yeah, I think what I remember is that you had vacuum sealed a lot of like meat and cheese and make like a trail mix or a nut mixture.
Yes.
And and that vacuum sealer just works so good because it makes it small, keeps it fresh.
Feels fresh anyway.
It feels fresh. And then I had a small cooler with that. I think I put a bunch of lunch meat, some crackers, and that kind of stuff in.
You know, Chris brought some dried fruit before too, and that was good.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not like it's a super diet friendly meal. I mean, but at the same time, it is kind of nice to have something a little sweet.
Get your protein and get your
That's a good idea. Sure. So that's the plan. Got to get that seat bag. I think I have a couple coolers. Just trying to figure out how to keep it cool. I mean, that's the hardest. Might be the hardest part. But yeah. So hopefully everything will go well. It'll be fun.
Yeah. RideWise is the section we focus on planning and safety tips. RideWise is the section we focus on planning and safety tips. And one of the things I was just thinking, Tom, you know, you've got this long trip. You're going to go probably close to 1,900 or 2,000 miles one way.
Yeah.
You know, one of the fun things, and we talk about this on every trip, and it just happened this past weekend. We did a Memorial Day kind of ride, and we checked in with some people, some friends that were along the way, along the route, and it's fun to meet up with them. So I'm just going to remind you that, you know, take a look at your route going out, which way you guys are going, and you know, you might want to think about some people that are along those ways, and you know, check in with them. And
well, there's 4 guys I know we'll meet.
They'll know places to see too.
Mount Rushmore.
Those 4 guys. Yeah.
No, but not too far from Seattle. It's like a 3-hour drive. It's Portland, and I know Jason, the guy we used to work with at the Gazette, has a place in Portland, so maybe he'll be there then. And so that was one of the thoughts I had. That's a good idea. Yep. No, it's one of the things I just didn't realize is the fun part.
It really is. Yeah. And then, you know, just remind you to hydrate, because you're going to be going in July.
Oh, man.
Late July.
Or
August.
Yeah, technically,
August.
Everything will be in August, but
yeah. You know, just make sure you've got plenty of water with you. Yeah. And then, you know, stretch. It's easy to get those hip cramps. I know I got one this weekend.
Yeah.
Halfway through it, not even halfway through a ride, a quarter of the way through the ride, and I hip cramp. But, yeah, just think about those
good point. Yeah. Well, I think we'll be putting about 4,000 miles total on the bikes. So, you know, I don't think I'll have to worry about like oil change, but yeah, we'll have to make sure we pre-trip some things. That's
a good one. And then this was just something that I did this past weekend. At the end of last season, one of my headlights went, burned out, and so, excuse me, I went and picked up a couple of headlights, but my bike has 2, so I was okay to finish the ride or whatever. But I wanted to replace it this year. I just replaced both because I can't remember what was in there, what like the color temperature was or how many lumens. I knew it was an H7, but I didn't remember. So I just replaced both, so they're exactly the same, and then I just take the one remaining good one, put that back in my package, and that's my spare then to carry.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's just one of those things that if you've got 2 headlights, or headlamps, I should say, just replace them both, and they're exactly the same.
Right. Well, and I know you mentioned offline too to check the tire. It's going to be questionable at that time.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
Yeah, because you're at about 3,500 miles right now with your bike on that tire, and then it's going to be hot. You're going to have it loaded down, and I would say that you're probably going to want to you'll make it out there, but then check it when you're there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to do a little research on how many miles people have gotten it. Now, this has the aftermarket suspension, and supposedly that is a really big difference. So we'll have to see. It'll be a good test because that bike has pretty much had the aftermarket suspension in the first couple hundred miles. So that'll be a good test. I've always maintained the right tire pressures. So it'll be good to check. It'll be something to kind of figure out. So.
And take a good look at it. Now, and then when you get out there, just see.
That's a good point.
1,900, 2,000 miles, how much did it change?
Put Abe up there and
Abe
check
on
it.
Yeah, do that.
Good point. The next segment is what we call the mile marker. It's our story segment. This is a section we call the mile marker. So we're heading to Seattle, Turk and I, at the end of July. Just shy of 2,000 miles, as Todd mentioned. that's kind of just the Google Maps. So not, if we take any alternate routes. I know the first night we're staying in Rapid City, so we're gonna want to drive through. I think it's the Needles Highway out in Sturgis. It's
for sure.
It's the main one now. We're gonna be there 2 days for Sturgis, so luckily second day is not. I think it's 400 or 500 miles total.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get through there without too much, because I've heard just bike to bike to bike. I mean, you've mentioned being out there in a car during that time, and it was crazy. I mean, there's so many bikes.
A week ahead, and there were still bikes just flowing in.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Well, you're going the opposite way. Well, once you pass it, yeah.
Iowa, South Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, and Washington. So we're going to hit some states.
It's going to be great.
We'll probably, Mark and I we hit it pretty hard. So the first day I think is 800 miles, 400 miles by the second day, but we know we want to do some of that Needles Highway. And I think the last day is still 700 miles. So is that equal about 2,000-ish?
I wasn't paying attention.
15 plus 4. Carry the 1, divide by 6. I don't know.
Sounds pretty good.
So on the way back, I know Mark we might tack on a little more. He's never driven or rode or been in North Dakota, so we're going to do that. So that's kind of exciting. But the hope is to get there, and then we're going to kind of do some day riding. So kind of mixing business with pleasure for me. I'm going to work a little, but the great news kind of is, it's West Coast. So if I get up early on the West Coast, it's kind of a little later already. So it's going to be exciting. I know that we're actually riding out there during Seattle's dry season, which is like 4 days, I think, maybe.
Right.
But so that's kind of a bonus. We've been looking on the forums, the motorcycle trips and advice. A lot of people from out there giving us some great suggestions. I know Olympic Island, I think, is a place we can ride. Out there is all those beautiful pictures of these wild-looking rock formations that are sticking up out of the water. So I think we'll find enough to ride. Hopefully we won't end up in Canada by accident, but if we do, we do.
Make sure you have your passport.
Hope I have a passport. No, that's a good point. But so I think minimalist ride a little bit, but other than that, any thoughts or ideas that you have that we want to be careful of or not forget? We'll try to take the pics.
Yeah, take a lot of pictures.
Should have the cameras on board. That'll be good, especially riding through some of those.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million videos already on YouTube, of course, of that. So
maybe
I'll try to find something different I can do.
Right.
Maybe it's just the Goldwing surrounded by 400 Harley Davidsons might be enough. I don't know.
Just keep your eyes open for cool things to see along the way. And, I would say when you find some great roads and things that are real memorable that, the rest of us, should come out and join you with.
Version 2.
Yeah, we'll take another ride out there.
That's a good point.
Yeah, make sure you really pay attention to the ones that you love out there.
That's not my forte, slowing down, paying attention.
I know. And remembering to take pictures.
Get excited about seeing how far we can go.
I know. You get really tunnel focused. Here we go.
Oh my gosh. So it's been fun. I think Turk's got us staying in Rapid City the first night. I think we're staying in Big Timber, Montana the second night. And that should get us there. I don't think we haven't really planned the way home. We can either do that when we're out there or see how it was. We just knew with Sturgis being so close, we were going to have to get something. So I hope we really do have a place to stay.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got a place to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, so close to Sturgis. And
maybe because it'll be Sunday night. And so maybe people are just leaving on Monday. I don't know. I can't believe it. 29th. No, you know what? It's 29th and 30th is Monday. The first is Tuesday, and the second is Wednesday. That's the first day.
Oh.
So maybe, just maybe.
I still think you got lucky, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was we'll see. Either that or the long distance riders call them what do they call it? The Pinewood Hotel. And that's where you sleep on a picnic table.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There might not be any picnic tables left, actually, at this point, so. No, it should be enjoyable, I think, for the most part.
I think you're going to have a great time.
It'll be good. If it gets real bad, I'll just call. You can come out and pick us up.
All right, we'll bring the trailer out.
Brad's truck and trailer. Yeah, for sure. The podcast can be found on bestmotorcycleroads.com/podcast All the information you need will be there, but you can subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, Pocket Casts, and YouTube.
This is the interactive segment. We will be looking for input from you. We want you to send us your questions and suggestions for roads, topics, and anything else you have on your mind. Today's Roadside Q&A comes from Sam. And Sam would like to know if we have any recommendations for cameras that work well on the motorcycle. And on a most recent trip to down to see the Eclipse, Tom, you picked up a GoPro 12. I was just shocked at how clear, how good those videos were.
Yeah.
And smooth. It wasn't jiggly. It wasn't blurry. It was just crystal clear.
It's not your father's Oldsmobile.
It was super impressive. And then, one of the things you showed me about that is no matter how you mounted that GoPro on the bike, it has a horizon lock feature. So you could tip it any different way you want, roll it all the way upside down, and the horizon never changes.
Yeah, you can literally sit there and spin it like this, and it doesn't look like you've moved the camera.
Amazing.
It's unbelievable, yeah. And like I said, the GoPro 12, the reason why we picked that one up is because of the Bluetooth capabilities, that it connects to the Sena Red. So the goal here is try to get it hooked into our headsets, which I have not successfully done yet.
Yeah.
But that's why we picked that up. But I know the Insta360 both attaches to the Bluetooth like that, and I'm assuming probably has that lock like that. So both of those cameras are really the kind of like top of the line motorcycle recording cameras right now. But you're right, that horizon lock is unbelievable. I had that thing sitting at a 45-degree angle, weirdly placed, and it looked like, it was just, if you
dead on level,
hit it with the laser
level.
And then weirdly, like I said, I have one thing, and I got to talk to GoPro about this, I think, because I had it mounted upside down and diagonal towards the battery door, because my thought process was I bought a GoPro accessory door so I could plug in the camera the whole time. And my thought was, well, if it rains, if I angle it that way, then it'd be rare that the rain would drive up under there. Well, once in a while, and I don't know if it's because of vibration of the motorcycle or what, but I would get a warning that says, not enough power. Well, what I think I decided was that was the battery, maybe just microsecond disconnecting from the camera, and giving it a weird signal. So I need to check into that. But because it was a GoPro door that I put on there, but I'm just wondering if it was just a couple thousandths off of maybe holding that battery exactly where it needed to be. So I was going to mention that to them and see if it was. But man, you're not kidding. That thing's shooting 5.2K video, which, like you and I have talked about, I'm not sure how we're even going to edit these files down.
My computer can't handle it.
Because I think each segment of file is 11 gig.
Wow.
One file. So.
Yeah.
TBD.
Yeah, TBD for sure. We might have to buy some pretty big computers to deal with that.
A supercomputer.
There you go. So, Sam, to answer your question, Insta360. The GoPro 12, I guess, if you want to try and connect to the...
I'm pretty sure the 11 and 12 are similar.
The 11 probably does the same
outside of that
thing.
Bluetooth feature. I think it's close.
It's probably the same, nearly the same camera other than that. So,
and I have a 7 and an 8, too, and they're really good.
Yeah.
They're both great still.
And you've also got some more generic Asian cameras, I guess, mounted.
Yeah, there's no real good brand name, but there's a ton of great cameras now that can be mounted on the bike. And man, that's cool because they're just always recording, and they're kind of, they're two, I think they're 1K or HD cameras, so they're not like cinema quality, but man, do they do a heck of a job of good pictures. And the one thing you just have to remember every time you stop, clean the lens. Oh, yeah. Because it's inevitable that a bug has gotten in there within the first 2 seconds of you stepping onto the motorcycle. No other bugs hit the bike anywhere but that lens.
That little lens.
But no, that is important because... those things were great. And I mean, they get a great, and they're always running, so you can kind of go back and watch it all. And I don't know, I love it. Yeah. If anything happens, hit the button. It takes an instant 10-second video and then a picture of that moment in time. So I'll try to hit some pictures as I go.
And from that one button, does it take a picture? Because you've got a forward camera and a rear
it does
monitor,
both.
Right? It does both.
Yeah, it just takes a snip forward, snip back. Yeah, it's cool. Highly recommend. And I mean, you're talking less than $200 for what they have right now, and I don't know, it works pretty good. A lot of times people will mount those things forward and back. If if you're gonna do that, put a cover over it or something. The sun does not treat the screens well on those, so they kind of burn out, and then they kind of, I wouldn't say they're worthless at that point, but they're tough. I've seen them go out, and then they still work, but you can't see anything on them.
I see.
And then one more tip, I guess I'm trying on mine is I kind of got mine mounted all up in my trunk. I actually found an SD card reader for one that's extension, so I'm going to try to like kind of put everything hidden away.
Tuck it
and
out.
the only thing left open is just that, because you got to change the cards about once a day on those.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Now it's time for the last mile. It's our way to close the episode with our reflections. So Todd, what do you got from today?
Well, I'm just happy for you that you're getting to take this trip. I'm actually pretty jealous. I'd love to go out that way. I mean, that first day is going to be a tough ride, 800 miles. I mean, I think I've done close to that. Like, I think we did that one just a few years ago, or COVID year. Or
well, we did because I went a ways, broke the bike, came back, got a different bike. So it was about that much.
That was about that far. But you're going to see some just amazing scenery out there. Don't forget to take pictures. And I kind of wish I was taking that trip with you, because I think it's going to be great.
Well, I'm excited too, just to kind of see how the ride out, kind of find a destination, see what that looks like during the day. And I'm kind of excited just to see the West Coast stuff.
Yeah.
I've never been in the Pacific Northwest ever, so I don't even know what to expect there. So, the times I've been on the rest of the West Coast, it was pretty much isolated and didn't have my own wheels. So it'll be fun.
That sounds good.
If this episode revved up your day, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share it with your crew. We're all about the thrill of the ride and the bond it creates.
Keep the spirit of adventure alive, and remember, bikes, friends, and endless roads. The stories ride forever. Take care.